I got cut off on the freeway delivering a cake, and I had to slam on my brakes, and the cake flew off the seat, and I grabbed it, but my hand went into the cake instead of grabbing the board. But it clearly had like a tear in it where I grabbed it. So it was bad.
We've been called a lot of things, and we're inspired by everything around us, including each other. The individuals that have inspired me the most create beauty and positive change. To me, that's the highest form of art, and it deserves the loudest praise. This is Shoutout, the art of self-expression. On this episode of Shoutout, the icing artist and professional cake decorator, Kellie Latham.
The cake world is so vast. Like, there's so many different techniques, and I mean, it's always evolving too. So I just want to try new things. That was probably like the biggest thing as far as like cake decorating goes. You have to have a lot of patience with yourself and with the process of it, because it's not easy. And we all started out in the same spot. We all started out not knowing what we're doing. I still watch like cake shows, like they're going out of style, and I love to learn new techniques. It's nice to get paid to do something that I like to do, because it does not feel like work by any means. It's always rewarding to see somebody's face too, like, or like I finish a cake, because then I know that I'm good at what I do. Like, it validates what I like, that I can do it and I do well at it.
All right, welcome to the show, Kellie Latham. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. You bake cakes that are amazing. When did that whole process start? How did you get into this?
I was in my mid-20s, and it was kind of the start of like the big craze about like cake decorating in general, because back in the day, like it was like a sheet cake is what you got for your birthdays, and now it's just it's an art, really. So, I mean, it was back, I was in like 26, I would say, like when Ace of Cakes like first like jumped off, and like Cake Boss, and that's really where like the love of it started. I mean, I went to culinary school too, but yeah, like it was probably just the start of just like watching these people just make these insane things out of an edible material, and I wanted to learn how to do it, and so I did.
Did you ever draw or do anything creative before? Because it seems like you would have to have like sculpting skills. No,
you know what, like in hindsight, like because I interned for someone after I did my courses through Le Cordon Bleu, and she went to art school. My boss did, and so her lead decorator also went to art school. So I had no idea. So like I cannot freehand draw at all whatsoever. So I really kind of wish that like I went that route, but I had no idea. I mean, I thought that like you decorate cakes, you go to culinary school for it. So yeah, like certain like concepts can be like quite challenging, because I have to figure out how to do that. I found that I'm pretty good at sculpting. So I do enjoy that. But yeah, freehand drawing, man. I can draw a good stick figure. But that's about it.
That is extremely surprising, because I think like your skill set and my skill set are exactly flopped, because I have a traditional background. Like I've drawn, and like just last year I decided I wanted to make a cake for my wife, and I thought like, oh, I've got this, no problem. It came out awful. It was a train wreck. I'm like, how does Kellie do this? This is extremely difficult.
What did you?
I was trying to make a like a carriage cake, so it would look like Cinderella's carriage. It was not good.
And that's pretty ambitious for like what, like I'm assuming your first like sculpted cake. So, yeah. I mean, kudos.
Take me through your process. Like when you get an order, or you get somebody that wants a specific kind of concept cake, what does the beginning of it to the end look like?
Usually they send me like ideas of what they want. So sometimes I'll replicate something that they send me, or I'll take pieces of different cakes that are online that have to do with the theme of what they want and kind of go from there. Cause usually like anybody who orders from me has given me pretty much like free range and whatever I want to do, which is great. But I'm such an overthinker that like that's kind of a bad thing sometimes, because I'll sit on my phone for hours like scrolling like, okay, I like this idea, I like that. So because there's so many, like the cake world is so vast, like there's so many different techniques and I mean it's always evolving too. So I always want to try new things, and like lately, like especially since COVID, like it's kind of slowed down a lot in what I do. So when I get something, I want to do everything. And so so it usually starts with that. Like they send me an idea, a theme of what they want, and I'll kind of go through like the photos that they send me, and I'll kind of just pull from like certain ideas like that. And then I figure out what I have to buy to make it, like how much of the ingredients that I'm going to need, what materials, because I could do fondant, I could do modeling chocolate, I could do buttercream. So just 3 or 4 days ahead of time, get all that done, get all my buttercreams done first. And then I'll have one set day where I just decorate all day long. So, and then just go from there. And then kind of, if I need to make like finishing touches. So it's usually concept, buy everything, bake it all in one day, and then decorate for at least a day or two. And that's pretty much it. So.
And that's also kind of interesting because to me, you know, working on anything creative, I don't really, I mean, unless I'm at work and I'm doing it like for a client, I don't really have a set deadline. But for you, it's like as soon as you really start it, it's the timer's running, right?
Pretty much, yes. I've definitely had things, I've actually had things get like ruined on the drive of delivering it too, because it's also really stressful to deliver the cakes. It's happened to me twice. So like there's the anxiety levels like through the roof as far as that goes.
Can you kind of expand on those 2 bad deliveries?
They were both when I first started decorating, and like one of them, and because I mean like my car too, like I don't have like the proper vehicle to like transport something. Like my seats are kind of like dipped in, so it's just kind of one hand on the cake and then one hand on the wheel and like pray that nothing happens. I got cut off on the freeway delivering a cake, and I had to slam on my brakes, and the cake flew off the seat, and I grabbed it, but my hand went into the cake instead of grabbing the board. So thank God, like the person that I was delivering it to, she was so cool. She still paid me like full, because it still looked good, but it clearly had like a hand, like a tear in it where I grabbed it. So it was bad. And the same thing like happened with the other one. I told him not to pay me for it, but he did anyways. So, but yeah, that was probably, yeah, I cried both times because it's just so devastating. You put all these hours into something, and then it's just ruined in an instant like that. And that's it. So I love when people pick it up. I hate delivering them because I have pretty bad anxiety. So it definitely like, yeah.
Are there any concept cakes that you've done that were like start to finish just a dream? They came out better than you expected?
I think that you would know this one very well. Yeah, your brother going away cake, the Terminator Elf, was probably like hands down one of my favorite cakes to make, because he had told me about this. Like he and I worked together one shift, and he like randomly came up and was like, you know what the ultimate cake would be? Terminator Elf. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I kind of laughed it off. And then that was probably at least a year before he was leaving. And when he announced to all of us that he was not going to be with the company anymore, I was like, that's the perfect going away cake. So I had to do it, and it came together really, really good. Like I just love, I don't know, because when I do them too, is like I throw in headphones, I listen to music, and I kind of just immerse myself into what I do. And a lot of the times, like I let the cake kind of talk to me and tell me what it wants to do. And yeah, that one, like it was just start to finish. It was just easy peasy, and it came out really good. I was really, really proud of that one. So
Yeah, I think everyone liked it. I think that put you on my radar because I was like, I had heard you had done cakes, but I don't think up till that point I had seen any of your work. And then all of a sudden I saw Terminator Elf and I thought, okay, that's a completely different level that I've seen anybody do.
I surprised myself. It came out so good. I was so proud of it.
After I saw it, I was kind of like trying to jump into your shoes. I'm like, if someone came at me and said Terminator Elf, even just to draw it, I'd be like, I don't know if I can really pull this off. But I think I saw the cake before I even knew the concept. I'm like, that's Terminator Elf. That's the coolest cake I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was carrying it out from the car to the restaurant. Like two guys were walking by and they were like, "Hey, it's Alf." I'm like, "Oh, thank God. Like, this is obviously Alf." Okay, great. I did it. So, yeah. And it's always rewarding to see somebody's face too. Like after like I finish a cake, because then I know that I'm good at what I do. Like it validates what I like, that I can do it and I do well at it. So his reaction was probably also one of the like hands down like favorite reactions I've ever had to a cake.
What would be your ideal future? Would you want to start up your own business and have like an actual physical space where you'd be doing this?
I don't know. I mean, I used to, like when I first started out, I used to want my own shop in California. Having a front, like a storefront is, the rent would be insanely high. And so I don't know. Like I do enjoy doing it on the side for the time being. I'm obsessed with watching. I still watch like cake shows, like they're going out of style, and I love to learn new techniques. And like there's some like insanely good decorators on these shows, and it's just I don't know. I would love to be on that level where I can sculpt realistic things and yeah, that's probably like a goal. Is just to, I don't know. I just want to get better.
Well, I think, just the steps that you've taken and the attitude that you have toward your craft is very healthy, and just continuing to grow your skill set, you're going to end up going really far because you definitely have the talent and you're putting in the time now. It's awesome to hear that like you're in a spot where you're using those same creative muscles every single day. It's only going to improve. What advice would you give anyone that would be like looking to get into cake decorating?
Honestly, just practice. I mean, like, I don't know. I went at work. There are some people that don't like to pipe like inscriptions on cake and they like compliment me. And I'm just like, as simple as this sounds, but I just say like, I wasn't this good. Like I've done it over and over again. I've just tried out, like learn different techniques. There's so many like YouTube videos out there. Like that's the great thing about like the world we live in now, is that anything that you might want to learn how to do, like there's a video out there for it. So half the time I use YouTube to look at like, okay, how do I even build this? So choose your resources and then don't give up. And I mean, it's hard. It's pretty stressful sometimes. Like there are times where things just do not go right. And honestly, it could be like the weather, like the room temperature, like the humidity level, like that all affects all the materials that you work with. So I would just say be patient too. That's probably the thing. Patience. Yeah. Patience is something I've grown into. So that was probably like the biggest thing as far as like cake decorating goes. You have to have a lot of patience with yourself and with the process of it, because it's not easy. And we all started out in the same spot. We all started out not knowing what we're doing. So that's probably the advice that I'd give somebody, is don't give up and make sure you have patience because that'll help.
You had mentioned just then, anything can affect the final outcome, especially kind of like temperature. What would be the ideal environment to create a cake?
I would say dry over humidity, in my opinion, especially if you're working with like fondant, because fondant can get so, like if it's too warm in the room, it'll get like kind of gummy, or it won't do what you want to do. But also if it's too dry, it can tear. So like I don't know, the happy medium would be between dry and humid. So like right snap in the middle of that. But Yeah, I haven't really had a problem with that unless the kitchen's too hot. But like I said, I do all of my stuff like baking and all the heat beforehand.
Now, when you're at work, are you in kind of like a cooler while you're decorating, or is it still like room temperature?
So I'm in like a fridge, and I have a fridge on this side and a fridge on that side that are slightly colder, but I literally work in like a refrigerator. So it's not the most ideal to like when you're working with buttercream, especially like chocolate, because chocolate, like when it's cold, chocolate will seize up, like it will just get hard like right away. So there's some challenges there, but yeah, not all of like the departments that in like this chain, they don't all work like that. They actually have a bakery where they work out in the bakery, but it's hot sometimes because you're next to the oven. So I mean, there's like pluses and minuses because I've worked in the other stores and then this one too. So there's one's not better than the other, to be honest.
Depends kind of on like what material you're using, if you're using fondant versus chocolate or whatever material.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to that's kind of helped you or supported you or inspired you along your way?
Honestly, I would say that I'm fairly blessed with the circle that I have around me, whether it's like family and friends. Like I have cheerleaders in every corner. So I can't say just one person because I have so many people that believe in what I can do. So I would just say like all my family and friends. I don't want to sing anybody out, but or leave anyone out. But yeah, it's just I'm very blessed to have people. Yeah, like everybody that I know believes in what I can do. So,
well, thanks again for being on and spending time and kind of sharing your process and your inspirations. I really appreciate it, Kellie.
I mean, it was very flattering and I'm very humbled. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And then the shout out that you gave to me on Instagram, I would say like a month ago, like that was very unexpected. And it just feels good when somebody like recognizes what you can do. And I just feel validated when things like that happen. So I really appreciate you, honestly.
Shoutout is an Ellering Stories production. For more episodes, visit elleringstories.com.